on Tuesday afternoon, December the 22nd. And I'm Pastor Lou Kilgore, here continuing in my series of Pastors' Chats, a place and a time to open the theological portal, right? I've said this before, but I keep coming back to it, that church, when church is really what it needs to be, I think, it's a place for deep conversations. Deep conversations. And by deep, I just mean that the conversations can go below the surface of how are you. So when I ask you, how are you, I only wish that the next wave of technology will give me the ability to ask you that question and then have you answer it. I guess that's called a Zoom. But for now, these pastors' chats, these one-way inquiries out into your life and your world, along with a regular yawn or two, it gives me a chance to ask the questions of you and gives you the chance to ask the question of yourself. How are you doing today? Is it the same way in your life that is in mine? Like, one day it's one way and another day it's another way. I mean, really, down deep. This experience of human life, especially, and I keep saying this, I keep qualifying it and saying, especially at this time. At this time, we have heard news. Jesus said at one point to his disciples, they said, when will the world finally conform to your way, O God? When will all be love and justice? When will the world reflect your heart in the world? And Jesus responded by saying, well, it's going to be a while. And he gave advice saying, in the meantime, you're going to hear of things. You're going to hear of war and rumors of war. You're going to hear of earthquakes, and you're going to hear about famines. I suppose he probably would have added to the list pandemics. You're going to hear of disease that is going to come. You'll have this. But the time is still coming. And the experience, human beings' experience on this planet, in the vision of God revealed in the Bible, is that we are moving toward a world, the reign of God in the world. And it may, in some people's minds, it may just be a gradual trend toward that. Or, in some people's mind, it goes gradually worse and worse and worse, and then requires a massive intervention of God to sort of stop the whole machine and say, look, let's see if we can't just start this all over. The point is this: we are moving. We are moving in a direction to a better world, to a world that conforms more with what the angel announced, that there would be peace on earth. Not the kind of peace that comes from forcible governments coming in and controlling people, but a peace that comes from within the heart of human beings being at peace in themselves and on this planet, where generosity becomes the day. It's December 22nd, and we have been journeying with the children of Israel in the stories that I've been talking about, and also with Mary and Joseph toward Bethlehem. We have been journeying toward Bethlehem. And we've been journeying into longer and longer nights. Longer and longer nights. But the winter solstice was last night. And so the earth and the planets reached an equilibrium of distortion, meaning the lion's share of the earth's experience was darkness. in one day. And now, incrementally, almost invisibly, but eventually perceptible, the days begin to get longer. Light begins to prevail. And the good earth will return to being warm and full of the ability to produce life and all of that. All of that tells the story of our Christian journey, of our faith, our walk of faith. We have this eternal promise that something new is coming. Behold, I am doing a new thing, God says. A new thing. And sometimes our minds are full of the bad things. I am a negative inventory person. I'm sorry to admit it, but I am a person who has a tendency to take my own inventory to add up. So how many negatives are there in my life? What are the things that are hammering against me? In my Christian life, I try to exercise a Christian discipline and to say, now come on, stop it. Start to count your blessings. You have to hold up the blessings to see the whole truth. The negative truth sounds more truthful sometimes. It sounds more honest, but it's not. And so the world also can sometimes seem like nothing's ever really changing. Nothing's changing, but it is. The power of God, I don't know how else to talk about it, but the power of God is at work in the world, and light is winning over darkness. This is what John says in the Gospels. The light, which represents what's good, and in God's economy, what's good is mercy, forgiveness, generosity, empathy, the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes, forgiveness. These things are the light. Apostle Paul talks about these things as fruits, as if they grow on the tree of faith. And there he talks about patience and love and kindness and long suffering, the ability to carry something for a while until it can turn right. These things are all part of the light that is dawning, the light that is coming into our world. And how does it affect the whole world? Well, one person at a time. One person at a time. That's the Christmas story. That's the story of the birth of Jesus. Mary endured. Mary believed. Mary took on in a very troubling time, in an overwhelming time. She took on a hope. As of today, the earth will tilt towards light. As of today, the community of Nazareth will tilt toward light, because I will carry this child and I will give birth to this child, because I've been told by heavenly messengers that this child will bring light to the world. This child will bring peace on earth. That he will bring a rulership of God into the world. And Mary, in the middle of all the negative inventory she could have had, her list of negatives was huge. Today, the earth turns towards light. So, the day after winter solstice, the day after, we say it together. The earth tilts towards light. And I already do, anyway, I start to look for signs of it. It's going to be coming all around us. I know it's just the first day of winter, but the first day of winter is also the first day marching towards spring. And the time passes quicker. As I'm getting older, the time passes much faster, and I'm learning to look to the light that's coming. I long for the days when at 9:15 at night you have to turn on your light in the house. I long for those days. And they come. They do come. So in Advent, we recognize that there's a point of tilting, of equilibrium, a break point, if you will, where the darkness must surrender. And journeying faithfully in Advent, we make the commitment to be part of moving to that side of the teeter-totter, moving to that side. It has been so gratifying, so incredibly gratifying as a pastor, to be working as a pastor during this December. People's awareness and sensitivity to the need for real help through the gifts of money in particular, it's alive and well. People are hearing and believing the state of despair and discouragement that's going on in the lives of our neighbors. And they are responding, and they're responding through the church. Our gifts to the area food pantry are astounding this year. Money and food, but mostly money. The mitten tree has never had so many mittens, and then along with it, we've been sending the checks that you've been sending to us, the contributions that you've been sending, and these are not the ordinary. This is not the ordinary level of support by far. This is real, dig deep in your generosity and in your moment of compassion, and offer from yourself something that turns the world toward light. It's a good Advent season. In the middle of some really scary things, and if you have a relative that is sick with COVID right now, I do not minimize that at all. I have a family member, relative, who walked right up to the brink of death. And by God's grace, the report right now is they're going to survive. So I'm not living in a fairy tale. I don't want to. But I'm also saying to you, my prayer is that for you and for your life and for today, let's mark this day, the 22nd of December, on this journey toward Bethlehem. It's like we can see it. We can see the lights of Bethlehem, and our step is quickened, and our sense of that we're going to make it is rejuvenated. I hope that's the experience for you today. We'll see about tomorrow. Who knows what tomorrow will be. God bless you, my friends, and I mean God bring blessings to you. And through you, may God bless your neighbors and friends and your family, because that's the way the world is designed to work. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bible study tonight? Yes. Bible study tomorrow? Yes. And then Bible study tomorrow night, and then the chat tomorrow afternoon. The schedule for Christmas Eve, I'm going to be telling the Christmas story. You want to gather kids or grandkids up if they're with you. I'm going to put the camera on the creche, and I'm going to tell the story of Mary and Joseph and the birth of Jesus. And it's just going to be me and story time. That's at 4 o'clock. And then at 8 o'clock, we'll be live streaming a Christmas Eve service that will include the videos that many families did of holding their candles, and invite you to sing Silent Night together with a candle that you're holding. And then we'll do the same live stream. It'll be live, but it'll be streamed at 11 o'clock also that night. Who knows how you'll celebrate Christmas this year, right? It's definitely going to be different, but the High Mountain Presbyterian Church will be there for you. If you want to turn on a program, especially if you're home alone, and you want some sense of community, you'll be able to find it, I think, through the live stream on Facebook or YouTube. I think you'll be able to get some sense that we're thinking about you and praying for you as well. God bless you, my friends. Talk to you soon.